A marathon typically takes at least 4 months to train for. Along the way are a handful of days that remind you that you actually have a race to run. This is one of those days. By the time I pick up my bib, do a final shakeout run, and carbo load to top off my glycogen stores, I'm ready for this process to be over. Honestly, I hate marathons. I enjoy running, but I hate marathons. I'm only running this one because my ego was not satisfied with the result of my previous and only marathon up to this point. One in which I attempted to run under 4 hours and failed. I'll spoil this one by admitting I failed to hit that goal in this one too. So consider this a cautionary tale for those considering taking on arguably the toughest American marathon course. I will preface this race section by admitting that I didn't film anything from mile 13 to mile 24 due to both fatigue and the fear of my phone's battery running out, since it also had Strava running in the background.
Come back here.
The race began in waves starting at 5:15 a.m. near the ferry building, though it felt more like midnight. My wave, Corral C, began at 5:30 a.m.
It's certainly a lot of nerves and a really, really early morning alarm clock this morning. So congrats on being here, guys. We'll let you loose in about 1 minute here.
I'm curious when you over-under the heat. That's the number. I checked 5 times.
I'm on that 26 times.
We began running north along the Embarcadero toward Pier 39 and through Fisherman's Wharf. The first quarter of the race requires a lot of patience because it feels deceptively easy. The only hill you encounter is the trail near Fort Mason, so the first 6 miles are mostly flat, which enables you to cruise toward the bridge. But after 6 miles is when things get real. The first challenging hill is the climb up to Golden Gate Bridge. But there is some emotional support to get you through that stretch. Then there's the bridge itself, which is basically a mile-long hill. Shout out to that guy behind me for insisting on being my cameraman for a few seconds. That was his idea.
Perfect, thank you.
Now back to remembering that I need to focus because I'm no longer in cruise mode. I'm actually having to press a little bit to keep my goal pace. Once you get across the bridge and into Marin County, it's mostly rolling hills until the hill that brings you back up to the bridge. That hill is seen in the background here. I overheard one of the runners say this steep uphill stretch is a mile long. In fact, about a half mile before that hill, I could overhear a lot of chatter warning about that upcoming hill, and I can understand why. I didn't film it because getting up it in one piece required a lot of concentration. While I managed to run the entire hill, this hill halted about half the runners to a slow walk. I'm talking hands on knees like they're climbing a flight of stairs to the top of the Empire State Building. While my ego propelled me up that hill without walking, my quads paid for it, and that probably affected me the rest of the race. When I got back onto the bridge, this is when the doubts about me hitting my time goal began to creep in. Because the half marathon mark is at the end of the bridge, and I felt like the numerous climbs on and around the bridge took a lot out of my legs. By the time I got off the bridge, my legs felt like jelly, and this is a major reason why I stopped filming at the beginning of the second half of the race, because I wanted to concentrate on hitting my time goal, though I did get some footage of the last couple miles of the race. So, after leaving the bridge, the next stretch of the course takes you through the western part of the Presidio into the Richmond district. You then run about 8 blocks through the Richmond district into Golden Gate Park, where you run around a lake and then back out of the park on the east side into the Haight-Ashbury neighborhood. This is the stretch where you run through Haight-Ashbury, Lower Haight, and then dip into the northern part of the Mission district that is deceptively hilly despite being a net downhill stretch. Ironically, Potrero Hill is the flattest part of this stretch of the course before you reach Mission Bay. Once you get to Mission Bay, you pass Chase Center and Oracle Park, and then you're back onto the Embarcadero where everyone is on the struggle bus together for that final stretch. I filmed those clips at mile 24 when I knew my time goal was out of reach. At this point, I was firmly inside of the wall and had serious doubts about just finishing because every single step was painful and it felt like I was running through waist-deep mud. Between mile 19 and the finish line, I saw a few runners on the side of the course being attended to by what looked like medics, and I was only sure one of them was conscious. So, run marathons at your own risk. Even though I failed to achieve my time goal, I'm not disappointed. When you run one of the most challenging marathon courses in the country, just getting to the finish line feels like an accomplishment.
Devin Miranda, more finishers coming across. Tura Morelli, Ruth Rowe, and Joseph Apurso.
All right, 420, baby!
Oh, thank you.
Stop.